Hi, my name is Garrett Bekker. I'm a senior research analyst at 451 Research, and I cover identity and access management, data security, and cloud security. There are three main benefits to using IGA. The first one is administrative, security, and also efficiency. On the administrative side, IGA can help firms onboard and offboard new employees and also deal with life cycle events like changes and job promotions, etc. On the security side, IGA can help monitor who should and who shouldn't have access to resources, also monitor over time and make sure those access rights are removed as people leave the organization. On the efficiency side, IGA can also help with maintaining licenses and ensuring that the appropriate users have access and you're not overpaying for licenses that you don't need, and it can also help improve the user experience. There are several reasons why IGA programs have typically fallen short of expectations, one of which is that they typically haven't caught the attention of the C-level and the board. Therefore, to get IGA programs across the finish line, one great recommendation would be to make sure they're tied to broader corporate initiatives like digital transformation. There are also cost components, however, and what we find typically is that firms will start out with their most critical applications, and then they finally run out of budget and they don't have the room to do the rest of their applications. There are several different dimensions to the cost of an IGA product to consider, not only the upfront procurement costs, but also the ongoing deployment, maintenance, and operational costs. In addition, most security personnel are in short supply and are difficult to find, and that's certainly true of IGA, which is a very specific skill within security. Typically, firms have a hard time finding IGA staff, and if you do find them, they can be very expensive to retain and also hire. There are several IT business processes that could benefit from a better alignment with IGA. One of which is IT service management, or ITSM, which essentially goes hand in hand with IGA. IGA is essentially all about who should or who should not have access to certain resources, whereas ITSM is essentially about delivering that access. There are also synergies in the sense that both are involved with providing automation to typically manual tasks like generating service tickets. HR apps are another area of synergy with IGA in the sense that HR apps are typically concerned with onboarding and offboarding employees as they make their journey through the company, while IGA is typically about provisioning and deprovisioning assets. GRC is another area of convergence, and GRC is typically about things like segmentation of duties and also generating audit trails of access events for things like compliance with regulations such as Sarbanes-Oxley, HIPAA, or PCI. So let's take a deeper dive into some of the other ways that tying IGA more closely with the rest of your IT processes can be beneficial. One of the obvious ones is in onboarding. When you onboard an employee, you typically have to create a new account in either Active Directory, Azure Directory, or increasingly through something like Okta or Ping. Typically, cloud service providers can do this natively, but if you tie it through an IGA process, it can help you introduce and enforce the principle of least privilege, which essentially means your employees can only access what they need to do their jobs and nothing more. Least privilege is also a core component of the new zero trust-based approach to enterprise security that's gaining a lot of steam lately. Another issue and another area where IGA can be helpful is in the notion of passwords for life, which essentially deals with the idea that when an employee joins a firm, they're given access to certain applications and resources, and typically as they evolve through the firm and their roles evolve, they gain additional access. But then when they leave the firm, a lot of times this access is never turned off, which is obviously a huge security exposure to have former employees still accessing your critical systems. Incident response is another key area where IGA can benefit, which is typically a separate issue, but when you can tie it in with IGA, it provides new remediation options such as turning off access to applications once you see an employee's behavior looks to be suspicious or risky. Lastly, IGA can also benefit from deeper integration with things like asset management and change management databases. By leveraging a repository of assets, you can more easily tie it in with IGA processes and help to grant access to not just applications, but other IT resources such as servers, computers, and databases.